Gareth, you're looking good.
So welcome everybody to this open Zoom meeting. Nice to see you. Sylvan, Claire, Wendy, Garrett, Tony, looking sharp tonight. Gio, looks cold over there. Connie, nice to see you again. Emmat, I don't know. I don't see any face there, but welcome.
Nice to see you again.
So yeah, let's wait for Rosa to join. She's joining. So I was thinking to
Gareth, you look sorry. Gareth, you look really good.
Hi there.
I was thinking to talk a little bit about suffering and peace today. And as far as it seems, suffering is arising out of the innocent thought belief that there's a you who is this physical body, having a life, existing in time and space. And that thought or belief or that concept is just innocently arising. There's no you behind it. It's just arising and dissolving. I am this body, I live, I've been born, I have a life, I have work, I have a job. And out of that, suffering may arise, as separation may arise also out of the belief, the sense, there's a you who is that body. And peace may well arise out of the innocent thought, belief, I'm not this body. I'm the observer of this body, or I'm prior to this body. But both I am this body as a thought, or I am the body, I'm not the body as a thought, it's just simply arising. So the thought I am this body, or the thought I'm prior to this body, is just simply innocently arising. Let me say, I hear some strange sounds here.
Oh yeah.
Claire, maybe you can erase Emma.
It's not about Gareth.
So suffering seems to arise out of the thought I'm this body, where peace seems to arise out of the thought I'm prior to this body. But prior to these innocent thoughts arising, there's no such thing as peace or suffering. Suffering and peace arises only in the innocent dance of separation. And there's no you able to avoid thoughts. There's no you separated to hold on to this I am not the body, or to get rid of I'm not the body. It's just simply arising, as is the suffering which is flowing out of the idea that you are this physical body existing in time and space, or the peace arising out of I'm not the body. And I'm talking about the concept to be the body or not the body, or the thought. Prior to this, there's no such thing as peace or suffering. So Tony, I want to start with you tonight. You look fresh. Anything is coming up?
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good. Well, there's no such thing as peace, but we could say that there is such a thing as peace also.
Yes. I would say in peace there is no such thing as peace, nor a in or a out. The same is in freedom, there's no such thing as freedom or no freedom, nor in and out.
Yeah, it's just that when you express it in relative terms, you're somehow perceiving it as something that is felt in the body-mind instrument, whatever.
Yes.
So that has a validity, but at the same time, it's complete. At the same time, it's completely transcendent.
I mean, the peace or the suffering arising out of thinking that you are the body, or the lack of that thought, or thinking that you are prior to the body, both the peace arising out of one or the other are as unstable and will go as the whole so-called thought or belief is unstable. There's no continuity in thoughts. There's no continuity in I am the body or I'm prior to the body when it comes to a concept or thought arising. And there's no continuity in the peace flowing out, the thought that you are prior to the body. There's no continuity in the suffering flowing out of the innocent belief that you are separated. Both that peace and that suffering is just innocently arising, and it's going and coming as it likes. Prior to all that so-called dance of separation, or prior to the dance of thoughts painting you to be something or to be nothing, there is nor peace nor suffering.
So let me ask you something. If you make the statement, there is peace, then that must be because it is known somehow.
Yes, but in peace,
Otherwise, you wouldn't be
peace is not
talking about
known.
peace.
Things can only be
Yeah,
known.
but if you express it as a statement, then there must be something that enables you to make such a statement.
Yeah, of course. But in a way, we can say,
Because if it's not known, you
no,
couldn't even say anything about it, could you?
well, I mean, you can say anything about
Rosa is raising her real hand.
let me just
Sweetheart,
finish
Thank
this.
God
well,
it's not a plastic hand. Oh no, it's not a
Let me just
no,
electronic
finish
hand.
this.
I don't agree that there must be someone who is then able to make a statement. No.
I didn't say that.
Oh, sorry.
Wait a minute. I didn't.
Maybe I wasn't listening.
I didn't know. No. But actually, you make a good point, because you said there isn't someone who makes that statement.
What
But
did
I
you say?
didn't
Just
say
what did you
that.
say?
I said it must be known. I didn't say someone must know it, but I said it must be known
No,
to
there's
make that
just
statement. It's not quite the
talking
thing.
happening without any knowing
Well,
of
I
what this
mean,
is.
Tony,
Well, yeah.
knowing or not knowing arises only in the dance of separation, where there is a you and something else which can be known. You know,
I suppose we
as
have to
is
define what
knowledge and
knowing
ignorance
means,
only
right?
arise in the dream of separation. There's no such thing as knowing or ignorance prior to this innocent dance, claiming there to be a you as a separated individual and something else which could be known
Yeah.
in an absolute way, right?
Well, Rosa, what do you mean by not knowing? What do you mean by knowing?
There is just talking happening. There is no knowing needed for this to happen, whatever this is. It's just a claim that this is speaking and knowing what I'm saying now, and so on, so on, so on. Whatever this means, Tony. There is just a joy in this totally, whatever this is, completely unknown. There is just a total satisfaction, you can say.
If Claire were to say, I'm eating spaghetti now, well, actually,
Bon
I've got no
appetit,
idea.
Claire and Sylvain, by the way. Enjoy the dinner. Yeah,
Thank
me
you.
too.
We are. And we've got our mouths full, so I can't respond, Tony.
Schmeckt good? Schmeckt good?
Sehr lecker, schmeckt lecker, lecker, lecker.
I just want to
anyway,
point
whether it's
out,
spaghetti or not, but she would say, well, I'm eating spaghetti because it's known, right?
oh yeah, but you know, many things can be known, but even that in a way cannot be known. Knowing or not knowing cannot be known as something because it's not a thing already. Knowing is not an object, nor not knowing is neither an object. You know, in the so-called world of things, in the so-called dance of separation, things may seem to be known, but that as itself cannot be known because there's nothing separated outside of this stream of separation, on this dance of separation, to know. Knowing and not knowing arises only in this innocent stream of separation where there's a you as and something else which is apart from each other. And there's nothing wrong. You hear a lot of times, well, nothing can be known. In a way, that's just another knowing. Nothing can be known.
Is this just
a new,
wordplay?
it's just a wordplay.
Yeah,
Yes, I agree, Tony. So
is it just wordplay, really, isn't it?
in a way, we can say it's all conceptual understand. It's all conceptual entertainment. And what I would like to point out is that shifting the thought from I'm not this body to I am prior to the body, and anything, as an effect coming out of that shift of thought as peace is as unstable and coming and going as the thought to begin with. So suffering flowing out of the misunderstanding or the idea that there is a you who's separate from a world, out of that may flow suffering, and out of the opposite thought where I'm not the body but I'm prior to the body, peace will flow. But that peace is unholdable. It is as much coming and going as the so-called suffering. There's no suffering is never always on. Suffering is coming and going. Even people who seem to be depressed are not depressed always.
This is already getting quite complicated.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, Tony, I think for you nothing is too complicated, right?
Well, I mean, if you simply say there is peace or there is suffering, you don't need much more than that, do you? I mean, in terms of words.
No, but this is not about needing more or needing less. So this is not about needing more or needing less. Yeah, I totally agree. Enough is enough. Saying I suffer or say I don't suffer is enough. But this is not the point. This is not like, this is not about.
Yeah, I think one of the problems. I think words are the problem, because when we talk about an experience, we're usually referring to something that's changing. So it's the mind is in movement. The mind is moving, experiencing movement. There's a beginning and an end of something. There's whatever changing. We call it an experience.
But Tony.
But what you're talking about, wait a minute, let me finish. What you're talking about in terms of peace is that you would say that's unchanging.
Yes.
So if I use the word experience to describe that, you could say quite legitimately, well, that's not an experience.
Yes.
Because it's not like, changing phenomena.
Correct.
That we experience. But it's difficult to find a different word from experience.
Oh yeah, totally. And
that's why I intentionally said it is known. I didn't say it's experience. No. I said it's known, but I didn't say it's known by someone.
I understand. But Tony, when you say words are not the problem, it's the mind. What is the difference between mind and words? Because you can say their mind.
I didn't say the mind was a problem.
Just the mind. Yeah, but there is no. You say words are not the problem. It's the mind is the problem. But in a way, mind.
No. Oh, yes. Well, yes. Well, yes and no. yes and no.
You said.
No, but we talked about that.
The mind is the problem. Yes. But in my opinion, as it is seen here, mind and words are no two different things. Mind is words, words is mind in a way. So you can say,
yes, you could say it's all being. Yes. But we've talked about this. We both agree on a simple definition of what mind is, which is just a bundle of thoughts, right? It's just
all words,
one thought followed by another. That's the totality of what mind is. No, I think the problem is words. I didn't say the problem is mind. No. On the other hand, you could say the problem is mind, because as a seeker, I think you could definitely say that there's a problem with the mind, because it's the mind that's the obstacle to knowing yourself. And you could say the mind is the obstacle. But on the other hand, if you say that you're established in being, then the mind is not a problem anymore. So it really depends on your perspective. Where you're coming from, what your viewpoint is. Are you speaking from the perspective of the seeker, or someone or the found?
Well, I mean,
Yes.
I never talk from the perspective of the seeker because seeking is simply not happening. We talked about this.
Yes, I know. I
So,
know. And sometimes that, well, it depends who you're speaking to. You can talk from this absolute level of unchanging, no difference, no separation. You can talk from that, but the problem is once you translate that into language, it becomes dualistic. You know that. I mean, it
oh yeah,
becomes
of course,
it
yes,
becomes a concept, and
yes.
there's no way around that really.
That was what I was trying to point out, Tony, is the concept, I am not this body, or I'm prior to this body, or the thought are unstable in the sense that there's no you bringing about these thoughts or these concepts. They just simply arise. Let's say they are part of this innocent dance of separation where there's an identifying with the physical form to be who you are in a world, in a universe surrounded by separated things. And out of this, a whole misunderstanding, I would say, may arise or not.
Okay, but even if you have realized that, then there's no problem at all with saying, I did
Oh
this,
no,
I want
no,
this,
no, no,
I'm
but
going to
Tony,
do
this
this.
is not about,
Even
of
if you are
course.
established,
Yeah.
yeah,
Language
it's
is
not
no
an issue
problems.
at all.
When there is, when there's an asking, what have you done Sunday today? There's no issue in saying, well, I was working. Although there's no sense of doership there. There's no sense of ownership of a body or being the body. I'm very well, there's no issue saying I, as if this is me, the body performing activities, while there's no additional sense of being that body or being attached to this body or feeling to be the doer.
Yeah,
There's no issue with language whatsoever, Tony, if that's what you mean. Of
that's
course.
right.
And you see some people even trying to avoid this, as there's an innocent idea that it's dirty to use words as I, so they start let me do an example. So somebody's
Oh, so
asking,
you're talking about spiritual bypassing now,
well,
eh?
let me put it like this. So someone is asking, well, what have you done today? Well, the character was
Oh, yes.
working. I mean, this is just another so-called crazy thing which you see. So there's no issue with.
Yeah, you have to be careful of the non-dual police.
I'm pretty fine. I'm pretty fine to say I was working. At the same time, like I said, there's no sense of doership or sense of being the body. But that doesn't matter. I'm pretty fine to say use words like I, me, and I went to the shop. While going to the shop, there's no experience of going to the shop or an experience of I going to the shop. But then again, when there's a question asked, what have you done today? The I is added to the equation, but it's already empty. Even the I adding to the equation is just simply arising, right? So this is not about
What
language.
does Geo think?
Geo is
I said that and he disappeared like magic.
Hi, everybody.
Who's,
Nice to meet you.
Klaus.
Hi.
Is that too loud?
What's up, Klaus? You want to share something? We have not seen you sometime.
Yeah, it's a long time. I'm not here on these Zoom meetings as before, so often as before. Yeah, I just was listening to what you said. Yes, everything that is arise in the moment is all that there is in the moment. You can discuss if there is a watcher or some kind of sense of huge beingness or expanded consciousness in the background, but all that there is now is a thought about a big expanse of a consciousness or being pure pristine beingness, as if there is something separated from what's going on now. So from my perspective, there is just only going on now thoughts about being in consciousness, thoughts about being a failure as a non-dual follower or practitioner, thoughts, memories, projections, trees, office, windows. It's all undivided. It's all what's going on now. And of course, there can be the belief that there is some big witness in the background doing the watching or making things happen, but also the sensation of being the witness or the sensation of a doership is among the things that are happening now in the moment. It's part of what's going on, no separation, just what's going on. And this reporting, it's not, do you say, it's not made up. It's not because I've read books or because I just be a participant in a Zoom meeting. It's just what's going on now. So it's the same for everybody, I think.
Well, what is there to say?
Well, that's a lot to unpack, isn't it?
And this is just innocently, spontaneously arising. There's no you behind it, you know, bringing about all these types of thoughts, emotions.
Yeah, you know, Sander, there can be the thought or the feeling that there is a you or a
Behind
me
it.
doing
Yeah, yeah.
things, but this thought or this feeling is among what's going on now. It's
Yes,
part of the movie.
exactly.
It's part of the movie. It's not outside the movie doing and making things happen.
It's still
There's
the
just the
movie, I would
movie.
say. It's still the
Yeah.
movie. What else?
It's in the movie, yeah. There's nothing else. I know that for years we've been searching for something bigger and eternal, or just something detached from what's going on now. But in the end, all you can report about it's what's going on now, and there is not even a you in the background doing the reporting. The sensation of being a you, it's part of the movie. So it's quite simple. There's no need to how do you say mention a religion or the tradition or the Advaita Vedanta or Adi Shankara or Nisargadatta. All that you can say is there is a speech about Nisargadatta now, or a sentence about Advaita Vedanta now, which is not separated from all the rest. Are you still there?
Oh, yes. You
Yeah,
thought we
hanging
left?
on to every word, Klaus. Yeah, every
You
word.
thought we left you, Klaus? After
I was
such...
just wondering, Klaus, how you know there's no one in the background.
Yeah, there can
How
be
do you know there's no one in the
the
background?
feeling. Yeah, the knowing it can be a total bullshit, you know. There is the assumption that there is nobody in the background, but the assumption arises among all the other things that are going on now. So there is this
yes.
bullshitting right now, right here, and the bullshitting is not separated from the room, from the chair, from the smartphone in my hand, from this video.
Yeah, okay. Klaus,
So
but look, if it's all bullshit, then how can it be an assumption? I mean, how can you call it a bullshit if you say there's an assumption that there's no one in the background? I thought you were going to say, I know that directly, but you actually said it's an assumption, which is a concept or belief,
these
isn't
are
it?
labels, you know, these are labels, these are words. There is nobody in the background knowing anything. This is another sentence. This is another thought, not separated from what's going on now. So everything I am going to say or to deny right now in the moment is not separated or apart. It doesn't come from any previous knowledge or detachment which move this character to say anything. You know, so the so-called character, the so-called state of knowing is just what's going on now. It's not separated. It doesn't come from another place than right here, right now. So it's all one with what's going on now.
Tony.
You see, it doesn't matter what you say now. I'm now forever hanging on to that statement. It's an assumption. You see, so it doesn't matter what you say.
Yeah.
As long as you say it's an assumption. Yes. If it's an assumption, then it's not what you would direct knowledge, is it? You're making an assumption. And you see, you've got to think about, how did that assumption come up? How did it arise? It was probably because you did read Nisargadatta, who you're now dismissing. I mean, that's quite funny.
Oh yeah. But I totally agree with you. Yeah, I read Nisargadatta, I read Adi Shankara. Then I participate to a lot of Zoom meetings. And so that's why I talk like that right now. But it doesn't mean that I am the knower separated from what's going on now. It's not that there is a viewer or a witness separated from what's going on now. There's just assumptions, statements, thoughts, phrases that may sound like absolute statements, but there is no separation. There is no knower, no producer of any statement. There is just statements, room, thoughts, memories, sensation, emotions.
Tony.
Yeah.
Sorry, Klaus.
Yeah, go on, please.
Tony, when you say direct experience, we can agree that in so-called direct experience, there is no experience.
Oh yeah.
There's no assumption either. And there's no assumption.
There's no assumption either, yes. There's no such thing as separation, nor wholeness, no you or no you. In so-called direct experience, there's nothing and not even nothing. Experience, I mean, we talked about this, Tony. Come on.
Yeah. No. I'm laughing because
why, Tony? Because why? Because this is just another state.
No, I'm laughing because what he's saying is true. It's not incorrect, but it's being expressed from a particular viewpoint. But there's another way of looking at it, and I would use Sander's phrase here: two sides of the coin. That's your phrase. So you can talk about this from the absolute level, but you can also talk about it from the relative level as well. And
that's beautiful.
Because it's there,
and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it.
And you know, I mean, look, I'm still trying to understand Claire's Facebook post that she made about 3.5 hours ago, but she said in it, I mean, I have to do this because I'm trying to draw Claire out. She's always hiding there behind us.
Tony, wait. Are you shifting now?
No, this is related. No, it's related because Claire, in this post, which I read several times, she said, how do you get beyond this societal, she used the phrase societal conditioning. And that's just tied in with what I'm saying, because the relative, you can also talk about the relative in terms of the way that Claire phrased this about how do you get beyond this societal conditioning? And my answer to that would be, well, you don't. I mean, you don't. It's always there. It's never going to disappear. So
there's no escape.
There's no getting away from it. But she used the word freedom.
Not getting away or no escape, Tony, come on. What is it? Is it no escape or
No,
no getting away?
no, there will always be conditioning. You can't get away from conditioning, but what you can be free of is the conditioning. Not free of it because the conditioning disappears, but just free of it because you know that's not you, all right? You know that the conditioning is not you. And that's where the direct knowledge or
Well, the conditioning,
apperception comes in.
yeah. But
It's not
conditioning,
that like the movie isn't going to harm the movie screen, is it?
no, but conditioning is saying what is you and not you. That's the whole thing.
Yes, of course.
What else?
Look, okay, I'm making a distinction. I'm making a distinction between what is changing and what is unchanging.
Yes.
All right. And that's quite legitimate to say. And
Mhm.
you're saying, well, actually, there's no difference. It's all the same. And that's
No,
also
wait.
true.
No, wait. I'm saying it's completely different and it's exactly the same at the same time. I'm not saying that there is two.
Yeah, you could put it that
Something
way.
which is changing and unchanging. I say what is both changing and unchanging. It's unique and it's the same at the same time. That's something else. But I find it legitimate or whatever you want to call it to talk about something
Legitimate.
which is unchanging and unmoving. Where I, so to say, draw a line is that unchanging and unmoving is something which is separated from the changing and the not
No,
moving.
not separate. No, not separate. But
That's
if I
the
were
only
to
thing which I
say,
want to point out.
yeah, sure, I understand. But if I were to say there is both impersonal and personal, the question is, how am I able to say that? How
Yes.
am I able to make the statement that there is both impersonal and personal? How can
Oh,
that be
I'm
done?
fine with that.
I mean, I've done it. I've just done it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, but of course, because this can be both personal and impersonal, because personal and impersonal is not separated either, as is changing and unchanging. So this can be both personal and impersonal at the same time.
Sure. I mean, to go back to the boring old ocean wave, and there's no separation between the wave and the ocean, right?
Yes.
So, but we can make a distinction between separate waves.
Oh yeah, of course.
We do that.
There's nothing wrong with making distinctions, but that distinction making is already not separated from something else as such. So it's not about not being able to make distinction. Yes, distinction can be made. There may be a sense even that there is a you as a separated being making that distinction, or the lack of that sense of a you making a distinction. Both or neither, it doesn't matter in that way. It's just simply how it seems to play out innocently and effortlessly as the belief in one or the other, or a disbelief in both and neither.
Yeah, I mean, is that supposed to be helpful?
Well, I mean, we talked about this many times, Tony. This is not meditation one-on-one or 10 steps to enlightenment. No, this is just a conversation. This has no goal this is not a practical meeting. This is just simply whatever it seems to be. Although I'm not saying that, some maybe going to this meeting find this practical, but there's no intention to learn anyone something here. But at the same time, I've got emails where people say, well, I've learned something. Well, great, even that may arise that something was learned. But if this was practical, it would be completely different, because there will be a goal and there will be a method to attain that goal. But this is not the case in this type of meetings, Tony. But so when you say this is not practical,
when I said that,
I know.
Yeah. When I said that, I wasn't intending
I
for it to go
I
in
know.
that direction.
I know.
I mean, it was just a simple question about the statement that you were making. I mean, how is that useful? That wasn't supposed to be some kind of teaching, launching into some teaching.
No,
But
I know.
I'm just thinking, well, how is that? If someone hears that statement, well, there's.
It doesn't,
I'm not going to go over it.
it's not helpful, totally. I mean, saying there's no separation to, let's say someone is feeling completely separate, and there's a feeling of being separate. It's not only an idea of separation, there's an intense feeling. And somebody would say, well, there's no separation. That so-called feeling will probably not go. I'm totally, I understand that, that so-called statements, absolute statements, which seems to be made, are not helpful. But like I said, there's no intention to help awful. This is just an expression. And this, like I said, this is not a one-to-one how to get rid of the sense of separation. As you know,
I'll tell you what it is.
wait, Tony. As you know, that sense of
yeah.
separation was never here to begin with.
Rosa's going to tell
So
me
I
to
have
shut
no
up in a minute.
goddamn clue how to get rid of something which was already not the case. If I would know how to get rid of the sense of separation, I probably would become a teacher and I would teach everyone to know how to get rid of this sense of separation. But when this sense of separation was already not arising, it feels a bit funny to teach people to get rid of something which already was not the case.
Yeah, I just wanted to make the point that I don't disagree with anything you said, but what worries me or concerns me a little bit is that when you say that, you see there are people who will look at that and they think they have to somehow get rid of the human experience. You see, they think they have to kind of delete the individuality, and
but that's a misunderstanding,
really,
Tony.
Yeah, it's a misunderstanding. Yeah, of course it is. We both agree on that. It's a misunderstanding. But when you make those absolute statements, some people get hold of that and think, well, the human experience is somehow, undesirable. I should be getting rid of it.
I'm not saying that.
And I should be, we were joking about that the other day about, being a blob, a non-dual blob in the corner of the room.
Well, that's not happening here, Tony.
Your life,
So there's no getting rid of human experience or so-called, no. All that is not the case. There's no one here laying on the couch and saying nothing needs to be done and everything is hopeless. No, there's full-on engagement.
Yeah.
This is just.
Of course it is. Yeah, I was thinking of Rosa, but anyway.
What, you think she is a blob in the corner of the room, or?
No. I'm just trying to get a reaction from
her
because I like it when she reacts. So,
but Tony, hearing certain words, or hearing, it doesn't matter if you hear non-duality speakers or teachers, anything, any idea about what is being said or what is being mentioned or to what is being pointed may arise. So, yes, I totally agree that certain absolute statement may sound or may come across in a certain way. But at the same time, how they are being heard or how they are being seen happens innocently. There's no way for you or me, so to say, to control the way words are being heard or anything which arises out of the hearing of certain words or ideas, how that will fall and what that will introduce as a story somewhere. This is just
I think
totally free and spontaneous.
Sandra, I think other people should be doing some speaking.
Well, great. Start with it, I would say.
I would say in Germany I call it Überraschung. Surprise, surprise, surprise. No escaping the surprise. There's really no control. I have no fucking what's going to come out here or there. It's just always a surprise, a free fall, totally unknown. And yeah, I would say that's the joy.
How are you, Wendy?
Unmute.
Oh, you're muted, I think. You're muted.
Muted.
But the hand gestures are
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, I figured it out. Can you hear me? I'm good.
Yeah.
I had a great week. I'm just, or it appears to be. So it's just been like a roller coaster. It's been fun. I feel free. If there wasn't me to feel free, you know, there's no words really. Nothing to say.
Good to hear, Wendy.
Yeah.
Gio, is it cold over there in Brazil?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, it's a bit cold. In the sun, it's okay, but in the room here, it's cold. If you don't mind, just for fun, it's all for fun. I'm not trying to address truths or not truths, but I would like to just regard the issue of changing and unchanging, because something popped up in my mind that could be interesting. I see that some people may say, oh, yes, it is changing and unchanging at the same time. But there is a trap, a possible trap in that, because the person says it is changing and unchanging, and then he says the unchanging is a no thing hanging somewhere else, or maybe somewhere here, or even go as far as to say the unchanging is what I am. But the fact is that there is the possibility to see it, the whole changing scenario as being the unchanging.
Yes.
So there is not a no thing or a thing or a whatever that is unchanging and the changing
Exactly.
that are together. No.
Yes.
There is only this, and this, the seeming flux, the seeming continuity of this changing river is the unchanging.
Yes.
But there is not something that is unchanging. It is already the unchanging.
Yes.
It is difficult to put in words, right?
I
That's a
agree
good
with you,
point,
Yeah.
Gio.
Gio.
That's a very good point, because the what appears to be changing is fundamentally not changing, and that's where you can apply the word emptiness, the emptiness of
Yeah.
objects. I'm not talking
Yes.
about emptiness of mind. I'm talking about the way the Buddhists talk about the fact that no object has any intrinsic substance to it. It's empty. Everything is empty. So there seems to be some kind of changing or movement, but really there's nothing fundamentally happening.
Moving. Yes, exactly.
So yeah, that's
Yeah,
a very
Tony,
good,
please.
very good point.
Yes. Just one thing. Yeah, in Buddhism, which I come from, there is this saying which sounds like the form is void, but the void is form. So you can never find anything,
Yes.
a complete vacuum like voidness or great void, and then you cannot find a total fullness in the same time. If you search for the void in every form, you cannot find any void at all. But every form is intrinsic void. So I wouldn't like to express this concept in terms of the movie and then the screen, the television screen.
No.
In which a movie goes on. I would say there's only the movie, but the movie is at the same time
Screen.
is still and void.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's continuously changing in the same time. So there is no need to mention the screen, the television screen, which is wide enough to make the possibility for a movie to take place.
Yes.
There's just a movie.
Yeah, but
it's more simple.
But then Klaus, in Buddhism, then they would say that you have to develop the insight, or what is the insight. The word in Pali is vipassana. You have to develop the insight to see things as they are.
Yes.
Yeah, but there is no you to develop or improve. You know, there is not a you that can gain benefits or improve or get more spiritual.
Yes. But when Buddha was walking on the road and a stranger asked him who he was, he acknowledged him and turned and said, "I am awake." So it's all very well saying there's no you to do that, but the Buddha turned on the road when the stranger asked him who he was. So I understand what you're saying, but on the other hand, there is obviously the manifestation of individuality. Actually, Buddhism is a little bit confusing if you want to do this comparison with Vedanta, because Buddha said that consciousness itself was one of the aggregates, one of the changing aggregates.
Yeah, one of the five. Yes.
Yes. So consciousness itself, and you might say, oh yeah, Vedanta is saying consciousness is unchanging, eternal.
Oh
but
no,
that's
but
not
wait,
quite right,
Tony.
because chit, which is mind consciousness, is not the same as sat. So anyway, we don't need to go into that.
Yeah, the idea of consciousness from Vedanta and consciousness from Buddhism are different things, because consciousness in Buddhism is the conditioned aspect. There is the I consciousness.
Actually, there's no difference whatsoever between Buddhism and Vedanta. It's exactly the same. It's just different terminology.
They are completely
it's
different.
Totally the opposite. Forgive me, Tony. The Buddhism is denying.
Well, no, because there's only one kind of enlightenment. So there can't be a difference between Buddhism and Vedanta.
There's no. We're talking about, every tradition, every place in the world has his own spirituality, and Buddhism was a reaction. Buddhism was a reaction.
But which Buddhism are you talking about?
The Gautama Siddhartha Buddhism, the one.
What about the Nikayas? What about the Nikayas? That's a bit different.
Yeah,
and what about the
Mahayana? You mean
the Mahanivapranana Sutra? What about that? You see, that was supposedly the last teaching.
Tony, what about it?
Because the Buddha talks about the eternal self. Because
but come on, Tony, come on, Tony.
Sutra, the Buddha talks about the eternal self. So that's the same as Vedanta. So no, but Klaus, it depends. What are you talking about Buddhism? Are you talking about Theravada, Mahayana? Are you talking about? I mean, they're all different. In the Nikayas, the original teachings.
Tony, on this topic. You're absolutely right, because there are so many schools of Buddhism now in the world, and every is a little bit different from the other. If you look,
more commentaries,
for instance, to the Japanese Buddhism, Soka Gakkai, they're all about empowering the sense of being an ego. They pray for having a car, they pray for having a bigger house, they pray for a beautiful job. And so it depends on where you go, you find different beliefs, different statements. But the historical Buddha, he just went against the, the castes, the Indian castes, where everyone is a little bit more special than the other because he has a more enlightened soul. So basically, he was against the purity of an internal individual soul, which was used to justify your social position in the Indian hierarchy. So that kind of Buddha, the historical Buddha, was imported in Japan, in China, in Tibet, and then now you have a lot of
that's why I never go beyond. But that's why I never pay any. Just one thing. That's why I never pay any attention to anything beyond the Nikayas, because in the Nikayas, which are the earliest traceable teachings, the Buddha in there says that he talks about the gathering and purification of the chitta to realize the immortal eternal self. That's what he says in the Nikaya, which are the earliest teachings. Well, read the Nikayas. I'll send you the text,
Tony, I mean, it's beautiful, all this so-called knowledge about
this
all
is a bit of a diversion, isn't it? This is a bit of a diversion, I suppose.
Oh, yes. when it comes to the film and the screen,
Well,
by
we're
the
going to
way,
be a
Klaus,
bit different every week, you know. I mean, it can't be the
yeah,
same
yeah,
old
I
bullshit every
agree.
week, right?
You do whatever the hell you want. Klaus, when it comes to the film, the film is the screen is the film.
Yeah, yeah.
But and when I want to comment also, Gio, I was completely agreeing with what you were telling about changing and unchanging, and also emphasizing that it's not a thing. The unchanging is not a thing somewhere else. Both changing and unchanging are not a thing.
Yes.
There are no borders.
Yes.
There's no thing which is changing and unchanging at the same time, as you know. Neither, we can say it's a no thing, but that just becomes another objectification, because no thing
Yeah.
can be objectified into a no thing, a no thingy thing, which is changing and unchanging. It's
Yeah.
not
This is a
nor a
thingy
no
thing.
thing, I would say.
I think this is the weakness of the Advaita teaching. It goes as far to say that, you
blasphemy,
detach.
blasphemy.
You detach. I'm not saying that you, Tony, are caught in a trap, but I have seen people who really get caught into the awareness trap, and it's very difficult to get out.
Yeah.
Exactly because it becomes ingrained that there is the changing enormity, and then you have inside the changing something, right?
Yes.
It's difficult to overcome.
Exactly.
But now I'm reminded of Rosa, who said that there is no need to know anything. Everything is happening and it's done. There is no need for a non-entity or an entity to know things. This is one of the another way that the trap of Advaita enters the conversation, right?
Yeah, there is no
It
knower.
seems always that there is always
there is only
the
the movie. That you can put it simple,
Yeah.
Joe. You can put it simple by saying there is only the moving, and if there is a sense of witnessing the moving, that's in the movie too.
Oh, great. This was what I was trying to point out in the beginning. So the belief I am prior to this, this ever changing, it's just still the mind. It's still the movie where it plays.
Actually,
I am
Klaus,
this body. I am prior to this body. Out of the sense I am this body, suffering may flow. Out of the belief or the thought or assumption or conclusion, I am prior to this unchanging. Maybe peace will flow, but both that peace and suffering are just part of. It's still the film.
Yeah.
Actually, Klaus, you should approve then of if consciousness is one of the aggregates, then you should approve of Nisargadatta when he wrote this book called Prior to Consciousness. So,
well, what he was
there's a
actually
recognition,
saying, Tony, prior
that consciousness is impermanent in that sense.
Yeah, but Nisargadatta was saying a lot of things. First of all, when he say prior to consciousness, he many times consciousness he used also mind, prior to mind, prior to this dance of duality. There is nothing, and not even nothing. Everything arises.
Yeah, he was talking about chit. He was talking about chit, which is chitta in the Pali.
Let's put the chit aside. Don't make it complicated. Prior to consciousness, I would say there's just an innocent stream of consciousness painting a universe, separate things. Prior to this consciousness, there's no such thing as a you and a universe or separated things.
Yes, Sander. If you read Nisargadatta, I've read a lot of books, Prior to Consciousness, The Ultimate Medicine, and many others. You can state for sure that he mentioned the Parabrahman. The Parabrahman is a non-state. It's nothing that you can report about.
Of course not. That's what I say.
It's written as if that is a standing point, is a witnessing point, but if you read carefully,
It's not.
there's nothing outside the so-called consciousness.
Yes.
What's going on now, it's so that there is, when you're dead, you are in Parabrahman, but you cannot report about
Oh,
anything because
of
that is not
course.
a state. The whole point
Exactly.
is all about this topic.
Yes.
Parabrahman is not pure pristine consciousness, is
No.
not the witnessing point, is a non-state, is not there, is not an experience. You cannot have a sense of beingness there. There is not a you there. There is not, it's not a state at all.
Exactly,
So that's why
Klaus.
you cannot talk about
Okay,
that.
well, Klaus, what Vedanta and Buddhism don't both have in common then is that they both talk about samadhi, which is the experience of non-dual objectless awareness. So they used to have something in common. But actually, what I was going to say is there was a conversation that somebody was having with Nisargadatta, and this guy very proudly said to Nisargadatta, he said, "I've managed to drop my mind, you see, and now I'm only experiencing pure awareness." And then he was a bit
just the
shocked
mind.
because Nisargadatta then said to him, "Now drop awareness."
I mean, yes,
So-
that's just still the mind. I totally agree with Klaus. What, when there's a reading, the so-called Brahman, there's no experience. That's why I said to you, Tony, in that so-called direct experience, I was pointing to what Klaus was expressing as Brahman. There is nothing. It's not a state.
It's a non-state, yeah.
It's a non-state.
in
There is
Nisargadatta,
no experience
it's not
whatsoever.
try
nothing.
to
It's
say
not
that.
nothing. It's not nothing, and it's not
It's not
something.
even nothing, I would say. It's not nothing, nor is it not nothing. You can say it's nothing, you can say it's something, you can say it's not even nothing. I mean, where can we cannot even talk about
Well, if you were
because
sticking with
isn't it.
Nisargadatta, he talked about falling into the absolute, into the abyss, into the abyss of the absolute.
Yeah, but
was
in
having
that
how he
abyss,
put it.
you make it sound as if there's an experience of an abyss. There is no such
No,
experience.
I didn't make it sound like anything. I just quoted the words he said.
Yes, but it can.
Nisargadatta was translated, right?
Yeah.
And the translations vary very much
Wait.
because
Yeah.
his
there's
language is
always a
Marathi.
problem with translations.
So
yeah.
the word consciousness was used in several different
Yes.
manners in his writings.
Mind, for example, Gio, beautiful you point this out. I was also saying this. Nisargadatta was using mind and consciousness interchangeably with each other. One time he
Sometimes,
said
yes.
mind, one
when
time he said
he
consciousness.
said the I
Wait,
am.
But
even
please
I-amness,
forgive me.
even I-amness was the mind.
Is there anyone that knows that Nisargadatta was only speaking Maruti and he was not able to write? So all that you can read about Nisargadatta has been written, recorded, translated, maybe not translated so well, and maybe not written so faithfully to what he meant.
Yes.
So you can read several books from Nisargadatta. They are not written by Nisargadatta, and so there is the big disguise.
Yes.
One time you talk about
so that's why, fortunately.
consciousness. Sorry, Tony. Go on.
I was saying, fortunately, I don't need any of Nisargadatta's books because I have my own experience. But yeah, I take your point.
Yeah, but who is the one having the experience?
Oh, I.
So, can you state that there is an I or a sense in an I separated from what's going on?
No, there isn't.
No.
Okay. That's all.
Because Tony, when Tony says I, he doesn't mean the personal I, Klaus. I've been in meetings with Tony. He would say, when he's saying to the I, it's not the typical I am this personal, I, this body.
I'm not talking about a person.
Impersonal. So.
Oh, great. That's good to know. Yeah.
But
precious.
yeah, that's so.
I am. Yeah.
But
so
wait.
I am that. From the Bible, I am that I am. Thou art that, from the Vedanta. So various ways of saying it. But of course, here's the thing, that if you say I am I, because this was written in Ramana's Ramana Maharshi's books. He wrote it as I, like I-I. But, you know, I clarified this with a Tamil speaker, because in Tamil, if you say I am I, you don't write the am. It's not written. So it's written as I, but it's really I am I. But when you say I am I, it sounds dualistic, doesn't it? It sounds like there's an I saying I am I, but there's no avoiding it because language is dualistic.
Language is dualistic. But the funny thing was that even Nisargadatta was using I-amness as he said, even I-amness, you need to go.
Must go.
Yeah. But see, he was very, that's why actually I'm not very keen on the I am that, this book. I don't recommend it because, and again, I think it's probably down to the translation, but sometimes he uses the I am to describe egoity, the I amness, the limited I of egoity. And then sometimes he uses it, the I am, to describe the unbounded, you know, awareness.
Yeah, but he used I am also to describe the mind. He also used I am as the first threshold and the last threshold. Beyond I am, there was nothing and not even nothing. So in a way, he emphasized that even the I am should go. I am is the first and the last threshold. You know, it's the start of the dance of separation. Prior to that or beyond I am, there is nothing. And then Klaus is pointing to that so-called state, which is not the state to be reached.
But what he said was, Nisargadatta was clear. He said, even the I am has to, he said that has to go.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yes, yes. And what remains,
but that book,
you cannot report about.
People.
You cannot report what remains. Beautiful,
yeah.
Klaus. Yes.
I mean, it's not that when I die.
Well, Klaus? Are you saying that if you're in samadhi, you don't know? If you're in samadhi, you don't know you're in samadhi?
Yeah, you know, there is this famous writers called Pradip Apti who tried. It was the first one to try to explain what Nisargadatta was meaning when he used to say prior to consciousness, the absolute or Parabrahman, and he summarized all this concept with a few words.
Yeah.
No experience possible.
Yes.
You know, so you don't even know that you are in samadhi. There's no samadhi at all.
There's no
samadhi at all, and there is no.
Yeah, I completely disagree with that. But anyway,
yeah, of course.
Okay.
No, because you are old school Advaita.
Well,
I understand you, Tony. That's
old
respectable.
School?
Yes,
what's old position. School?
Your position sounds to me like respectable.
It's not a position. No, it's not a position.
Sweethearts, may I interrupt you?
Yeah, of course.
It's not a position, Klaus. It's not a position.
Because
there's no experience, remember?
May I just interrupt the fire here a little bit? Kai, sweetheart, I was wondering what ideas are coming up there while listening to this. If you don't mind. You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm just attentively listening. Well, one thing that came to my mind is we talked about the screen and the movie and witnessing, but I think witnessing can be a useful tool for some time. You know, the notion of the screen of the
but for who?
For time. Of course, it can be practical. Yes.
Yeah.
It can be soothing. I agree totally, Kai. You know, witnessing can be very soothing. There can be all certain types of effects, but the question is for who it would be soothing.
Like Gio beautifully mentioned, with some people are simply falling into this awareness trap, the observer, and not able to get out of this.
Yes.
And this I know also. It's like totally addictive.
This is a useful tool for some time, no? Before you.
Yeah, but for what? For what? You know, I understand what you mean, but This sounds like therapy, where
Yeah, it's
the sense of
therapy. I call it
happening
therapy.
around me.
You could say it's transpersonal therapy. Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
It's for me, it's therapy, like beaming out of life, me and my life, in order, because in a way it's unbearable. It's hard.
Yeah,
And this
to
is
get
therapy.
a certain degree of detachment.
Exactly.
When, you know, sometimes the mind is
This
so
may help.
attached to problems,
Yeah.
specific issues, that it is useful to say, well,
Yeah.
now zoom out
And then
look from
I was joining quite a lot of meetings, like for free, and the people were so happy about this, including me, of course. And then I felt not anymore good with this, and the others were like completely, I don't know. It's crazy, total addiction to this.
Yeah.
It's just
Because
like
it's a trick. It's unholdable. I am the observer is as unholdable as I am the body. It's something which you cannot hold on to. I am the observer, as you cannot hold on to the I am the body. I am the body or I am the observer are just innocently arising. It's thoughts arising. There's no way to hold on. It may create a certain effect for a certain time. It may be soothing. It may create even the sense of freedom, but it has nothing to do with freedom. Nothing. It's a trick.
Hey, Klaus, the reason that samadhi is known is very simple. It's because the individual jiva that knows the samadhi is no different to Brahman. That's the simple answer. There is no difference. There never has been a difference between the individual jiva and the totality, the one indivisible reality. And that's exactly why samadhi is known.
But then you mean something else, Tony.
Very
Because
simple.
on this point, I have to agree with Klaus. In samadhi, there's no experience of anything. It's a non-state.
That's not my experience.
Yeah, but then it's not samadhi.
I've experienced this millions of times, but look, that's not my experience. That's why I can say it.
Millions
There
of
is
times,
a knowing of it.
one after the other.
There is a knowing of absolute objectless non-dual awareness, which of course is the goal of non-duality. There's all this talk about non-duality, but that is the goal. That is the goal: oneness, unity.
But there is no oneness.
There is an experience of it because the jiva is not different or separate from it.
Yeah, but
everybody goes around saying there's not two, but when it comes to the practice of it, they convenently forget that there's not two.
Tony, there is no
Tony.
Tony.
Wait a minute,
Tony,
who's experiencing
Tony,
it?
Sweetheart, there is no fucking praxis of it. This is not applied non-dual, sweetheart. Cuckoo.
Yeah, but Tony, please.
I love the bullshit.
Yeah, but it's being applied. But it's being applied right now, Rosa. So
who are you applying this right now, sweetheart?
No, because that's the non-dual reality. So it is what it is. So
okay, you're talking about a different thing. Beautiful, sweetheart.
I
love your story.
I think Tara was trying to speak and nobody allowed him to speak. Tara had his hands up.
Klaus, that's the answer. Just ponder that. There's no difference between the individual jiva and the indivisible reality. So that's why.
In samadhi, there's no such thing as samadhi nor an experience, because let me put it like this. In samadhi, there's not a you and something else which is experienced as separated from each other. It's a non-experience.
Yeah, you know what, Sander, if you can talk about samadhi as a blissful state that you can enter, or I know your statement. Yeah, but I was referring more to Tony. Tony, if you can report about blissful states, samadhi, they're part of the movie. They're not outside the movie. It's not that you go outside the movie, experience samadhi, and then you come back into the movie and report about the blissful state. The blissful state is a part of the movie. It's what's going on in the moment.
No, bliss is not a state. No, because bliss is not a state.
Yeah, how can you say that it is bliss if it's not a state?
Satchitananda is not a state. No, it's not a state.
How can you define Sat Chit Ananda as a blissful state if
It's not a
not
state.
possible to have an experience.
No,
of
it's
it.
not a. It's not a state. Okay,
So-
so see, this is the crux of it.
Yeah.
If I say it's not a state, your mind can't resolve that, because if it's not a state, then how can it be known? Yet it could be spoken about. Very difficult to resolve that intellectually, isn't it?
No, it's not. No, because samadhi is intellectually.
Yeah,
That is the
exactly.
problem.
Oh, what?
It's a mind fuck.
It's a mind fuck.
Oh my God, I'm shocked. I'm in a state of shock now. I'm in an absolute state
No,
of
but
shock.
I
don't
know what
Okay,
you
Tony,
mean.
enjoy the
Samadhi-
state of shock,
Tony, I know
sweetheart.
what you mean at the same time, but
So you're saying samadhi is just a mind game, right?
Yes,
A
because
mind fuck,
nirvana
sweetheart.
yes.
and samsara are the same. Nirvana
Funnily
and samsara
enough,
are
the
the
definition
same.
of samadhi is without mind. So if you say it's a mind state, well, it's not samadhi then, is it?
Well, experience arises only, if samadhi is something which is beyond duality, how can it be an
And you know
experience?
what?
Experiences
And you know what?
arises
Everyone
only
is
in the movie. Besides the movie, there's no such thing as an experience, nor a movie, nor are you seeing a movie or in a movie. So I have to agree
Okay,
with
but everyone
Klaus.
knows this. Everyone already knows this. It's the gap between two thoughts. Look, we've talked about this as well.
Yes.
People don't pay attention to the gap
Yes.
between thoughts, right? They think the mind is active all the time. So they don't pay attention to the gap. So I don't know, Klaus might say, well, the gap can't be
but
known. But if I
in
say,
that
well, is there a
gap-
gap between two thoughts? You'll say yes. If that's true, how is it known?
No.
How is it not known if you know that there's a gap between two thoughts?
That gap is in that gap, nothing is known. In that gap, there is no gap. In that
No,
gap,
there's no
there is
content.
no
That's
gap.
right. There's no content, as in samadhi. There is no content because there is
So,
no mind. What is
you
mind?
don't
Just
know
thought,
this gap
one
in
thought
the
after
gap,
that.
Tony.
But it is still known because you can report it.
No.
If it wasn't known, you couldn't report it. Nobody would ever speak about it.
Tony,
So
would
I'm
you
sorry,
please?
Klaus, but your big guru
Tony?
you quoted, I'm sorry, he's mistaken. He's
Tony,
The fake
listen.
guru.
All
Tony,
the
wait,
conclusions-
sweetheart.
I
Would you
don't-
please explain for me because I don't know what the word samadhi. What does it mean? Otherwise, it's boring to follow this discussion.
It means just objectless non-dual awareness.
So deep
Awareness
sleep.
without
Deep
thought.
sleep.
No, that's not true, because deep
What's the
sleep.
difference?
Oh,
What's
wait,
the difference?
Rosa, great point. What is there for
because it's not
experience in deep sleep? What?
Because
we can
samadhi
say,
is
Tony,
alertness.
No,
alertness.
Tony.
Deep sleep is not alertness.
No one is experiencing deep sleep. That's a good point, Rosa, because no one
That's
has
true.
ever
Nobody is.
experienced deep sleep. We can say deep
That's true.
sleep is samadhi.
That's why deep sleep isn't samadhi, because it's not experienced.
Well, you just say that
Samadhi is
samadhi was
experienced.
an experience. So what are you talking? Now suddenly it's an experience?
It's
No
just,
experience.
it's just, sweethearts. Let me say something.
Samadhi is awareness.
Tony,
that is
shut up,
alert to itself.
sweetheart. Let me
Well,
say
you asked
something.
me a question.
No. So
Yeah.
it's jokeless just to pinpoint about samadhi and I don't know what kind of shit.
But it's
I mean,
fun,
it's fucking
Rosa. It's fun.
yeah. But first
you
of all,
asked me
you
what
have
it
to
was.
you have to I don't know the definition of those words. So it's maybe important first of all to say what this is. Like,
Yes,
how do you
agree,
define
yes.
samadhi?
Yeah,
So
agree.
for me,
Yeah,
it's
agree.
new. I'm not into those spiritual
Yeah, understand that. Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
You know.
understand that. Yeah. But just one thing that the point is that samadhi is awareness that is awake to itself, and that is not deep sleep.
It's
You see, it's
Oh,
awake
okay,
to
so it's
itself.
something
It's
else.
awake
Wow.
to its own nature.
For me, this is what you just said, sweetheart Tony. This is for me a beautiful story.
Can I
Yeah,
hear?
for me too.
Wendy,
For me
go
too,
ahead.
Rosa.
Well,
Go ahead.
you there because you like stories, of course. it's a
Tony,
beautiful
shut the
story.
fuck up.
Yeah.
Sarah wants to say something. It keeps going across my screen, and she said it several times. So I would really like to hear what Sarah has to say.
Yeah,
What
nobody
is she-
listens.
Hi. I'm not comfortable being on camera.
Oh, wow.
Hi,
I didn't see
Sander.
Hi, Tara.
Lots of love. I don't know why I came on crying a lot right now. And, I don't understand where we're going now. I think I just wanted to talk this out. Um, for so many years, it was so clear here, like absolute clarity for so long. Even though this is a story, it's just been so clear for like 10 years, and now the last few weeks, it's been I don't know, a lot of grasping at others, and a lot of concepts. It went from having there's no such thing as a mind, there's no such thing as me, such thing as an ego, and now there's talks of mind, and you have to. Now everyone's writing here saying you have to watch it now, and I'm like, I don't know who's gonna watch it. I don't understand anything anymore. It feels like as if I'm a 3-year-old, and you're talking to a 3-year-old, and I don't know if that's what happens along here, that you just become like a child and you don't understand what anyone's talking about anymore.
Well,
And
Tara,
yeah,
sorry to to cut
no,
you
please.
down, but you said it feels like a 3-year-old, right?
Yeah, yeah.
How does a 3-year-old feels?
Like they don't know anything.
How you know that this is feeling like a 3-year-old? What is telling you that this feeling is a 3-year-old feeling or feeling like a 3-year-old?
Because sometimes it feels very I feel very childish here. Like there's just like giggling, a lot of just like. I mean, I could sit by the water and look at butterflies and start giggling, and I feel very childlike.
Yes.
And
Yes.
just reading the post that you need to laugh a lot. I was just reading Ananda Mayama when she said laughter. And sometimes here I notice that when I'm not speaking, sometimes there's a connection with another who recognizes themselves as this, but we're not talking about non-duality. We just start talking, and so much laughter comes. I cannot explain it. And that laughter, it's like an explosion of joy happens, and so much. It's like the sky cracks open in like wonder, and it's like something happened, but we're not speaking about non-duality. We're just. It's like there's no Tara and there's no other speaking. We're just oneness speaking, and totally empty, and it becomes magical. And I just wanted. I don't know. That's why maybe I'm on here right now, because I don't go to Zooms.
But you are here. I mean, Tara, you say you don't go to Zooms, but here you are.
Yes, because I don't know why. I'm just going to talk very open. I don't know why when I see certain. This is when the tears come. When I see you, when I see Rosa, when I see all these names, I see so much beauty, and I start to cry so much because you look so beautiful, and I cry so much. And I don't know why I can't see that that's my own self I'm looking at.
Well, you can't see that. You say, I don't know why I
That's
cannot
nice.
see that I'm the self that I'm looking at. Because that's just another construct. That everything you
Just
see
gonna
is
thought.
only you.
This is overwhelming love that is I'm feeling right now. It's just completely overwhelming. This love, I like start to cry. It makes you feel like as if like something's holding you. I don't know if I'm talking done. I think everyone's pretty much has told me here that, aren't you tired of this? Aren't you tired yet of this? And even Matt will say, aren't you tired? These are all concepts. Let everything go. Everything is just nonsense and garbage. Let all these concepts and words go. It's time to let everything go. And I don't know. I don't know anything. I don't know. This is resistance. I don't know. I don't know why I'm crying.
Well, but I mean, you don't need to know why you're crying. Crying is just crying. Any thought may address why you are crying or not. Any thought may basically arise why you are crying. You can say, I'm crying for no reason, or I'm crying because I see all these beautiful faces. It doesn't change what is happening already. Tears coming.
There's always something here trying to understand, and I don't know how to uh, switch the perception. Already there's no Tara. Already. Already this is done. And there's still this playing.
Well, but dear Tara, already there's no Tara can just be another so-called trick. It could be just another one side of the coin where instead there was a Tara before, now suddenly it was never a Tara. It's just a new structure, it's just a new trick, it's just a new belief.
That's all there is then. Every word becomes a concept and a belief. I don't know. Sometimes it's just a silence. I cannot. It just happens spontaneously. I'm just standing outside, and then everything clicks, and everything. All that I can come out of my mouth is unimaginable beauty. That's the only word I can find when it's seen and it's speaking, and I cannot have fine words anymore in that place.
Yes, well, I agree. Suddenly or spontaneously, a sense of peace may arise, a sense of connectedness or a sense of wholeness or whatever. And as easily it may just innocently go away, yes. And there may be a
But this can
longing,
never
and,
go.
there- and there may be a longing to stay in that state of laughter or wonder or wholeness, but it's unholdable.
And there's stories. I know a lot of the heaviness is personal stories. And how do you, like, when you have a lot of personal stories going on around you, and sometimes laughter will come hearing them, because I find the laughter breaks. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why I'm on Zoom. I don't know why I'm speaking.
Well, any reason why you are speaking or why you on the Zoom may happen. Any so-called thought why you are here or why you are not here, or not knowing that you are here or you are here, is just simply arising. It doesn't matter. As far as it seems, there is a you talking right now. That's all one can say. And when you can say this is a dream, you can say it's reality. It doesn't actually matters. But when it shifts from it's all reality to it's all a dream, it's just a newfound belief system. Where the thought were painting this to be a reality, now thoughts are painting it all to be a dream and no one is existing. It's just another construct. It's just another trick.
All these thoughts and concepts are tricks, you're saying?
Well, in a way we can say that, but in a way that's just a new trick, that everything is a trick.
Like a dog chasing its tail.
Sorry, Carrie?
It's like a dog chasing its tail. That's how it
Yes,
feels, you know?
yes, yes, yes.
Like just everything, there's no wrong in any of it. It's just all comes up as it does. And, you know, at the moment you might feel like this, and then, you know, even in an hour you'll feel totally different or less than that. So it's just changing all the time. So there's just nothing to grasp. Even every experience is just happening. There's nothing, you can't do anything with it. It's there and it's gone, and then a new one, and it doesn't belong to you. So the suffering, the joy, all of it is just happening.
But the sense that it doesn't belong to you, or the absence of that sense, doesn't belong to you either. The
Yeah.
sense it belongs to you, or the absence of the sense, is just arising.
Yeah.
So, you know, in non-duality, you see a lot of, you know, ultimate, absolute statements where people, you know, innocently seem to shift from, okay, so, aha, I was thinking that this is real, and now suddenly it's all a dream. That's just another side of the coin. That's just another found belief. It's just shifting beliefs. It's shifting ideas. But both the thought or the concept or the belief that this is real, or the opposite, both are real and unreal at the same time. There's no holding one or the other. So there seems to be a trying to search stability in something which is already very unstable and has no continuity nor a solidity. So there's a search for stability in something which is already not stable. There's a search for stability in something which is not real in the sense that it's coming and going. It's arising and dissolving. And there, in that arising and dissolving, there's a search for stability, a search for me. And when that so-called searching ends, what is left is just the naked raw directness, which is neither this nor that. And at the same time, it's everything. So, like I said in the beginning, you know, the belief I am this body may change in the belief I am prior to this body. But both are just innocently arising beliefs, and they offer nothing. I mean, the belief I am prior to this body may offer some peace, but that peace will soon go. That peace will soon make place for suffering again, because the belief I am prior to this body is unholdable, as is the belief I am the body. This so-called belief I am the body is not has no continuity. It's not on the whole time. Even the sense that you exist is not on the whole time. Even suffering is not always. Suffering arises and dissolves. It's the sense that it's your suffering.
Yes, Sander, the belief that there is a me that can improve and practice more and reach higher states, that's another belief.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Well,
so do you think there is anybody who could or should practice more, study more, understand more in order to attain some superior state like samadhi, blissfulness, nirvana, paranirvana?
Klaus, let me say, when there's a belief, let's say, when there's a belief innocently arising that there's something to gain, when that belief is high, out of that belief probably flows the doing of doing certain practices to reach that goal. I'm not judging about it to be wrong or right. It's just simply what seems to be happening when there's a certain belief. Out of that certain belief, yes, there may be practice. There's nothing wrong. This is not about wrongness or rightness of belief.
Yeah. I was ironically referring
If you
to
don't
Tony.
do that, Claire, Klaus, what's the alternative?
There's no alternative.
If you don't do
There's
that, what's the
going
alternative?
on.
Well, no, there must be an alternative. Because if you say, should you do those practices? Well, I would just naturally say, well, rather than what?
Yeah, the point is there is no you to do any practice to reach anything at all, because there is no goal to reach. There is no you to move from here to there. So when you speak about should practice more, I don't know who we're referring to. You know, it's just.
Oh, Klaus,
It's not. I mean, I don't know how anyone can say that. It's not my experience that there is no one who goes shopping,
Klaus,
or fills up their
Tony.
car with gas.
I also, yeah, Tony,
there is no one
Tony,
who does that.
Klaus, I'm not going with you when you always say like there is already no one. It's just not needed. Even this is not needed to be said.
Klaus, yes,
exactly. Yeah, Rosa.
It's really of no interest here.
Is that an assumption, Klaus?
I'm just talking.
Let me explain
rephrase it, Klaus.
When I say,
let me just finish my sentence.
Okay,
please.
you first. Okay,
so,
come on.
Here I can only speak like you are sharing your whatever is coming up there. Here it's just like here is zero interest in saying here is me or no me. It's just it's not. It's just that it's just always when you say there is no one already. Just what's coming up interesting. There, it's interesting that he is mentioning this the whole time. Funny.
Yeah, I am mentioning, it's not very important to clarify if there is a me or if there is a no me, because in the end, the real point is there is
the real
nothing.
Point. The real point.
Yeah. You are.
Good point, Rosa.
Wondering every single word coming from somebody's mouth. You wait it and you ponder it and you. Okay, let me just finish this sentence. Just for the sake of the talk.
Of the joy.
Yeah. For me, the description is about is there anything separated from what's going on now? There can be the sense of a me or the sense of a no me.
That's not separated.
No matter what, the real point is there is nothing separate. There is no me separated.
I agree,
from
Klaus.
what's going on.
Klaus.
That's all the point.
Klaus.
I'm not here to prove that there is no me or that there is a me. I'm just here to say, okay, look, in case there is a me, which it could be possible, it's not separated or outside of the movie.
Yes, Klaus,
Yeah.
I agree. Wait, I agree. I agree. If there's a sense of me or the lack of that sense, it's not separated from the totality. It's always the totality. Yes, I agree. If you ask me, can practices have an effect? Can practice leads to something? Well, I would say, as far as it seems in this innocent dance of separations, yes, practices may seem to have an effect, and there even may be the sense or the belief or the feeling that the effects are for me. But there can also be the lack of that sense, where practice is just, like playing football. You can play football and you get better in the football. And there can be a sense or belief that you are the physical one playing football who has an improved skill. But that also cannot be there when there's no identification with the one who is reaping the benefits of the so-called effect, the seeming effect. So can there be an effect of practices? Yes, there can be an effect as far as it seems. Practice can lead to something. But the question is, will it lead to something for you? For who are those effects? And there I would say those effects are not for someone separated, as there is no one for who these effects will be or not.
The
Yeah,
question
sure.
seems always to be for whom? For whom? Like
Yes,
it gets
exactly,
interesting.
Rosa.
It's only
It
the
doesn't
whole
matter.
thing here.
Yes,
The whole thing here is only interesting for someone.
yes.
Otherwise, this is just blah 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 verbal
Well,
diarrhea.
if
It's
the
just
effects, yes,
what
Rosa,
is.
exactly. If the effects are felt to be for someone, then that's just simply what it is. If the RR effects are not felt to be for me, then it's just simply what it is. This is not about me or no me. There may be a sense that these effects are for someone. Well, great. There may be a lack of that sense that any effect is for me, as a separated me reaping the benefit. Reaping benefits only arises in the dream, in the dream of separation. Outside that innocent dance of separation, there is no such thing as effects, nor are you or a no you, for who there are no effects. Outside or prior to this innocent flux of happenings, experiences, there's no such thing as an experience or a you as an experiencer. Those things only arise in the innocent dream of separation, which is this already. And there's no way to escape separation, as there is no separated you to escape separation or the lack of separation already.
Yeah, Sander, I mean, you can say in an absolute sense, you are not the doer. You are definitely not the doer.
But you also are the doer on a relative sense.
But you act as though,
Yeah.
you
We
are
talked
not the
about this,
doer,
Tony.
but you
Yes.
act as though you are,
Yes.
and that's good enough.
That's good
That's
enough.
good enough. You act as though you are the doer.
Well, people, when
Be satisfied with that.
Well, I mean, that's not happening here, but I have no issue with people
I was thinking
seeing
of Klaus.
I have no issue with people seeing me as an individual with choice and abilities, and I have no issue with people seeing separation or seeing doers. That's just simply what is. So there's no
Whenever anybody says to me, "Oh, well, who is doing that?" I have no hesitation in saying, "Well, I am. Who else would be doing it?"
What do you think I say when somebody said, "Do you have to go to the store? Did you go to the store?" Do you think I say, "Well, no one was going"? No, you know me. We had conversations, Tony.
This character.
I not say this character. I said, "Well, I went to the store."
Apparently,
but wait.
Put some tomatoes in a bag and
Tony, while going to the store,
how silly.
Suddenly, Tony is just playing a game, sweetheart. Come on, leave him, the little boy.
Because this is a funny thing. When going to the store, there's no additional loop or sense that there is a me going to the store. There's just simply the naked directness of going to the store.
That's correct. Groceries. But if you ask me afterwards, what did you do? I'll say,
and you add the I, Tony. We talked about this 1,000 times.
I went to the store.
Yes.
I went to the store.
That's just simply how it functions. You're not going
so sweetheart, here, let me just what I can observe here right now. It's very obvious. Then when there is going to the store and like Xander going to the store and doing shopping, there is only going to the store and shopping. Afterwards reporting, maybe a beautiful story.
Yes.
And with Tony D, there is definitely a Tony going to the store and shopping.
No, I agree with what Sander is saying.
Yes, you misunderstand.
If you go to the store, it's just happening spontaneously.
Yes.
There isn't a little man pulling levers in my head saying,
"Are you sure, Tony? Are you sure? Are you sure?
Absolutely
Are you sure? Okay.
Oh, Rosa, you're trying to wind me up.
I just love to play with you, sweetheart. It's so funny.
I know, sweetheart.
Even Carrie's doing the dishes, so interesting it is. I mean, Claire.
I'm happy that you're not anymore talking about the samadhi bullshit and shit ananda.
Well, I mean, Rosa, you know.
Shit, not shit.
Shit, full on shit.
I mean, shit means intellect.
Sorry to all the spiritual, I don't know what is that. Apologies.
In a way, it means freedom of intellect. or
Okay.
beyond intellect. You can.
I would.
It's mind. It's combination of mind.
Yeah, but you
when
can
it goes.
translate it to free of intellect, and intellect you can also see free of concept, free of conceptualness. You know,
What's
where
coming up?
Nisargadatta was also saying there's just conceptual entertainment. So Chat Chitananda means beyond intellect or beyond mind or beyond mind and intellect.
Chit-chat, Ananda.
It
Ananda.
means exist. It literally means existence, consciousness, bliss.
Oh wow.
Well,
This is heavy. So what
great
about
words.
what's coming up when I throw here the word simplicity?
Love
it's
it. I love simplicity.
Simple.
Yeah, I love simplicity.
Well, it's already simple. Even thinking it's complex, you know, even claiming it to
that sounds
be
complicated.
complex is already simple because it doesn't need anything. It's the same with effort. Even the sense that something takes effort comes effortlessly. It's already effortlessly and it's already simple. That's just simple, the natural state. It's always simply what it is. It doesn't need a you. It doesn't need a sense of you to be already just simply sitting in a Zoom meeting. It doesn't need something extra.
The sense of you.
Yes.
Is this already?
It might not feel like it though.
Like this. Yeah. No. It's funny. It's funny that in a way we are talking about the directness of what is about this. You know, it's just because it's everything. And you know what I mean? It's in a way a joke.
But when you say it's everything, do you mean it's everything because there are no things?
Yeah, you can say it's everything and nothing. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I'm going to say. It doesn't matter what kind of a feeling is here. If there is a rosa, no rosa, separated, no separated. It's
well, Rosa, as far as it seems, when there is
as far as it seems,
sense of this is me and I'm separate amongst other people.
Yeah, sweetheart.
Out of this fear may arise. And
I can only see the
that
totality of what is.
You can say that doesn't matter, but to be honest, suffering, you know, naturally many people wants to get rid of suffering.
Of course, sweetheart, of course. I
would say that I'm everywhere and I'm nowhere and I'm right here now.
So back to the simplicity. No matter what you say, that's it already. No escaping the totality of what is. It's every idea, every concept, every feeling, every whatever, and not even. Thanks for sharing. I'm holding the clap now.
Why are you thanking us for sharing? You are sharing, Rosa.
Yeah, there's no, like, I simply wanted to boom it out.
Yeah, it all goes back to suffering, doesn't it, Klaus? If you're a good Buddhist,
you'll
understand that.
Yeah, you know, I would like to talk to you, Tony, directly, maybe, I don't know, privately or in another Zoom meeting when we have more room to talk one to the other. But in this case, I have to answer briefly. I'm not a good Buddhist, first of all. I'm not a spiritual teacher. Second of all, I'm total failure as a Buddhist, to be honest. And I remember some teaching, but I would never dare to be a teacher or a guru because it sounds to me like nonsense, you know. So please take me easily when I talk to you, to people in general, because here there is no absolute truth or you know, a solid and continuous point of view.
Yes, it's fleeting, Klaus. It's fleeting.
What's going on?
Yeah, it's fleeting.
It's all this coming out.
No, I understand that, Klaus.
And if
my
you
main
look,
point was just about suffering.
Some
Tony.
Video,
Klaus,
yes,
I never
please,
tell
Rosa,
you.
can I finish?
Yeah,
may
you
I
can.
Finish, Rosa?
You may.
Rosa, shut up.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
I do.
Just a few seconds. If you take a look to some previous video where I am in, you will notice a certain contradiction or discontinuity. So there is no need here to be solid, as a teacher. I'm not a teacher. So I don't even like to confront myself with others' point of view, because there is no solid point of view here on first place.
Yeah, there are always contradictions. There are always contradictions. You can't get away from the paradoxes and contradiction.
Yeah.
But Tony, here back to your suffering point. I love it. When Tara was booming out, I know her already from also one-on-one chat.
Yeah,
and
she's...
so in a way, what came up here while listening is like, in a way, well, no escaping the suffering. There is only suffering. That's it. A total hopelessness. I'm diving into the shit
that myself.
I completely dive into it then, and that's it. And
but Rosa, when there's only suffering,
the point.
When there's only suffering, there's no such thing as suffering.
I couldn't agree with that myself, but
exactly. And then this is what I wanted to say. And then maybe something in a way happens, and you see, okay. So
Rosa, you don't think that it's possible for the end of psychological suffering? You don't think that's possible?
Everything is possible, but nothing is needed. It's what it is. Everything is possible. This can change in 1 second.
Sebastian is asking, I have a question here on the chat, and it's a legitimate question. What is suffering? Well, we make a distinction, Sebastian, between pain is something physical, where suffering is like a mental story around pain. So there can be pain, but there doesn't need to be suffering. Suffering arises mostly out of, for example, the identification or the attachment, it to be your pain. And it's, you are the doer of the pain, it's your pain. There is where suffering is arising. When, pain, so we make a distinction between pain and suffering. Suffering is like a mental process where it's taken to be you. The sense of self is involved in that pain. It's me, it's my pain. I have to do something. I did something wrong, and then I can get out of it. That's suffering.
So when there truly is the end of separation, there is no more suffering.
Okay, Tony.
Feedback.
I maybe, there's Kai. Maybe Kai. I guess there is feedback coming out of your.
Who's listening from a speaker?
I guess it's Kai, but it doesn't matter. But Tony, maybe I'll go with you.
Mute,
but I'm even not interested in. So maybe if someone is asking me, like, Rose, I'm suffering now so bad. Maybe it's exactly what I'm going to say. But it's just yeah.
Is there an end to suffering? Yes.
Suffering only comes from taking yourself to be that which you are not.
Yes, Tony, I agree. Suffering,
yes. That in itself is suffering.
I agree.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
In the very beginning, suffering arises when innocently this body is taking to be you among separate individuals.
Taking yourself to be limited. Taking yourself to be limited.
But that is just simply what seems to be happening.
Or unlimited, or full-on arrogance, or unlimited. This can also be very painful. Sorry, just kidding.
Oh well, if you're unlimited, Rosa, it's bliss town.
Bliss is already too much, sweetheart. Bliss is too much. This is where there is bliss, there is also shit.
But
can I say something?
Actually, you're talking about the common usage of the word bliss, which suggests a roller coaster of a high and a low. But actually, bliss as a translation of ananda is a bad translation. Peace would be better. Equanimity, peace would be a better translation of that.
I was just going to say that for me, like, suffering was the avoidance of pain. As soon as I allowed it to just be very painful, then, excuse me, that's my dog drinking out of his drink, by the way. As soon as I allowed it, like, the pain came from trying to push it away. The more I tried to push the pain away,
the suffering, you mean? The suffering was coming from pushing the pain away. It was not the pain which come from pushing the pain away. What you mean, the suffering is arising of not wanting the pain, or having a sense it to be your pain and you need to do something with it.
Yeah, for a long, long time.
Yes.
And now it's suffering.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know.
You spoke about this before. You spoke about this before, Kerry. So it's a kind of acceptance, right?
Yeah,
So
this
that
is what I call
acceptance of the
therapy.
suffering allows you to just relax.
It
The
can be a
acceptance of it
mind
allows
trick,
you to relax into just beingness. And then because beingness itself is bliss, then that's why the suffering
Tony, this is exactly what Kerry is saying. This I call therapy. I went through it too.
Mechanical, actually. The whole thing
I
is
went
very
through it. I was
mechanical.
like
It's not
on purpose,
conceptual.
just going through the triggers, so to say. It was a praxis, and that's I call it the ultimate therapy. But there is here simply this idea of, because this therapy further, like there is no one. And I don't know what. And for me, it was already bullshit. There simply the interest of this simply collapsed. So it's just
you know
what
that,
is.
Rosa. It's already bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, people can have opinions about anything. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it's just
totally.
Just
There's
opinion.
totally nothing wrong with opinions.
Yeah, and they just bounce off of.
There are only opinions.
Yeah, what else is there left?
There has to be there has to be some kind of inquiry. There has to be some kind of inquiry. It doesn't matter whether you call that a practice or not, because if you call it a practice, you start getting bogged down into it starts to sound like self-improvement, which it's not. So don't call it practice. Don't call it practice, but it does require some kind of self-inquiry.
Is self-inquiry not also self-improvement?
Effortless beingness.
Tony,
No, because
isn't it also self-improvement?
No, it's not. No, it's not, because self-improvement is for the personal. You want a better life, you want a better job, you want you just want all. No, I'm talking about inquiry into the underlying beingness.
This is self-inquiry is also for the person. Sorry, Tony, it's the same.
Oh, but self-inquiry, but wait a minute, I don't mean it in an intellectual way, because when you use the word inquiry in normal language, that usually means something intellectual. But I'm using self-inquiry as vichara.
Okay, I'm then out. Sorry, I cannot follow you.
No, the self-inquiry is it's simple. The self-inquiry is just noticing. It's just noticing. It's just going back.
For me, just
noticing.
If you come to me, Tony, and say, Rosa, just start to notice. That's for me praxis. This is for me.
Yeah.
Me.
Well, you're right. You're right to say don't make it complicated, because it's just a turning back and noticing.
Well, this is very heavy. This is a very heavy praxis. It's very, very heavy praxis to turn back to, in a way,
No, not at all. It's very innocent. No, it's very innocent.
Tony.
Just notice the stillness
like
within,
everything is innocent. Already. Tony, no matter how you flip the coin, it's not going to change.
The stillness is already there. The stillness is always there. It's just noticing it. So that's actually, you use the word simplicity. That's simplicity.
Okay,
just noticing the stillness that's within.
The praxis, the praxis is to notice the stillness. Wow.
Yeah, don't call it a practice.
Good luck.
Yeah. I know it's not special enough for most people. I know.
That cannot work.
Because special enough.
Tony.
And no one can do that.
No one can do that. Well, I try it and see what happens.
Well, that's not the idea that no one can do that or someone can do that is just another flip of the coin, Tara. So suggesting that no one can do that or
Tara, just pretend that there's someone who can do it. So just pretend that you are someone who can do it, and just do it and try it and see what happens.
For all
you don't have to have this belief that there's no one who doesn't do it. Just pretend that you do it.
Tony, we make it easy. Tony, we make it easy. Doing certain practices doesn't need the sense of a you as a doer for the practice to be done or not. So performing an activity inquiry or doing yoga doesn't
Place
make an
freely.
additional
Tara,
sense
yes, but
of doership or ownership to be
Let-
performed. So it's
let's
okay. Yeah,
don't
Tara
let's
said there is
don't
no one
choose
to do it.
let's don't
Well,
choose
that's
let's
no
take
another
that
one.
statement
Tony.
because it's a common statement. It's a very
Let's
common
don't
statement.
choose.
Tara said there is no one to do that.
Yeah, but that's
It
an
won't
idea,
work
Tony.
because there
Yeah.
is no. Of course, it's an idea. Of course, it's an idea. There is no one to do it. All I'm saying in response to that is, well, just pretend there is someone to do it and try
Yes.
it. I mean,
Well, I would
what else are
say,
you going to
sweetheart.
say?
Yeah. Yeah,
I
why
What else are you
would
not?
going to say?
no, but you know, I would say if there's a sense that someone is doing it or not, it's already what seems to be happening. So it's
Yeah.
not about this is
Yeah, well,
free
it
to
doesn't
do if
matter
it's done or
actually.
not.
Yeah, good, Tony. It doesn't matter
It
actually.
doesn't
This is
matter.
what
It
I'm
doesn't matter whether you think that. Look, it doesn't matter whether if you put a, you stamp your forehead and you put a sign on you saying I'm a practicer. It doesn't matter if you do that. All I'm saying is, if you think that there's no one to do it, that's just a mental block
Yeah, but we talked
to
about it,
doing
Tony.
it. It's just a
Tony, we talked
concept.
about
That's
it.
all it
Yes.
is.
Yes. I that I already
Yeah,
said.
of course.
I would say there is there is as much you doing it
But
as no you doing it already.
you
Yeah,
It's just
I'm with
another
you.
flip
you
of the
are
coin.
both the doer and the non-doer. Or
Yes.
you could also
And
say
not
you're
even.
not the doer or the non-doer. You're not the doer or the non-doer, and you're
Yes.
both the
It's
doer
not one or
and
the
the
other. It's both
non-doer.
and neither.
I don't
And
know why
there's
people
where
think
it
this is so
becomes
important to
tricky,
talk about all the time.
Tony. It's not one or the
Yes, it's
other, it's
tricky.
both and neither. What I said, there seems to be a search for stability in either I am the doer or I'm not the doer.
Yeah,
But
the
both
landing.
I am the
Yeah, that's a
doer
good
and
point.
not the doer are
Yeah.
both just simply innocence, thoughts, and beliefs
Yeah.
that are equally unholdable and undoable as such. So
Yeah,
flip
but the intellect doesn't like
I'm the
that
doer.
paradox.
Of
The
course,
intellect
the
doesn't like
intellect
it.
doesn't like it at all. The intellect wants
It
to
doesn't
land
like paradox.
Yeah.
That's
It
that's why it
always
wants to
wants
be
to.
committed.
Yeah.
As
Exactly.
Sander says, it wants to be committed to saying either this or
Yeah.
this,
Either this
but
or
it
this.
cannot accept both
That's why, sweethearts,
both
that's why I
at the
go
same
with
time, simultaneously, without
Yes.
difference.
that's
Exactly,
why I
Tony.
love
The intellect, you can't go there with mind.
No.
I love the not knowing because you cannot go there with mind, with thoughts, ideas.
Yes,
And what
yes,
lies
yes. Not
beyond the
knowing is very
ideas?
useful
Not
to
knowing. Of course, not knowing.
Yo.
So this is the freedom in a way. The not knowing, the not landing. And this is simple. This is really simple.
because you can't really know anything about any phenomena or object. You can't really say that it's possible to know anything in that sense, because as soon as you think you know something, it's gone. It's history, right? So you can't grasp it, right? It's already gone. So there is this not knowing. But I would say that the only thing you can know is yourself. that would be
I love
the
you.
core understanding
Tony,
of Advaita Vedanta.
I just
that
love
you
it.
can only know yourself.
I just
But I don't
love
mean
it.
yourself as a personal self. I mean yourself as the transcendent, impersonal
Of course, Tony.
beingness.
Of course.
That is the core message of Advaita Vedanta, actually.
Well, let me go to Claire and dear Sylvan there and see if they want to throw in a dime. Claire, sweetheart, Sylvan, maybe you want
Claire
to
just came here to eat. She thinks this place is a restaurant. I mean,
well, it's fine. I said to them.
she thinks she's in a restaurant.
We feel nourished.
Would you like
actually.
dessert?
Yeah,
What do you
it's
want for
watching a
dessert,
movie.
Claire?
We've been thoroughly
Do you want some
entertained.
profiteroles?
Please.
They are actually not listening.
Sylvan, a few words,
Yes.
my friend. Come on, a few words. Just throw in something. What is coming up?
Okay, I will throw something. I've been what I've been listening tonight is very much in a number of people who are talking about their knowledge, because they use all those words from India or anyway. And I was questioning, of course, when we learn from other people, are we learning anything at all apart from what they discovered? So where is the space for being just it? And how do we understand life as it without any support from anybody else's ideas?
Well, it's a valid point there, you know, what you're saying, because some seem to throw very expensive words around out of books. And how you know that, you know, to be true? Is it just something which is read? Is there any experience in that direction? So yeah, that's a valid question. I mean, at the same time, I think during these, you know, talking about certain you know, teachers or guru, we also came to the conclusion that in a way you cannot say anything about the if it's valuable, because it's a translation. So where to go, you know, we came to the conclusion that it's all just words in interpretation. In, you know, somebody has said something and then there's an interpretation. So yeah, how valid can it be, words of these beautiful guys like Nisargadatta and Ramana Maharishi, when it comes to your own so-called experience? So the suggesting here is there isn't even a thing as your own experience. Your what
That's
is
worrying.
claimed
That's
to be.
worrying, Sander.
Oh
That's
yeah,
worrying
I
to
know
me.
it's huh?
That's
Yeah,
worrying to me
it's worrying. Yeah,
because
I know it's very scary. Yeah, I agree.
no, I don't mean it that way. I mean that actually there's so many groups of people on the planet all thinking they hold the truth of some sort, and we don't have a uniform approach to, you know, understanding where we are and what
Oh,
we're
it will
doing.
never happen. Sorry,
Well,
you know, I have bad
exactly.
news,
So
Silver.
nothing is right and nothing is wrong.
What you want will never happen. It will never be that anyone will agree and everyone has the same so-called perception. So this is the bad news, that will never happen.
Wait a second. Well,
Wait, Rosa,
what do you want,
Rosa,
Sylvain?
wait, Rosa. Never it will happen that everyone will see everything in the same way. And there's
I
no
never
need either for that
said,
to be
Sander,
happen.
so and I'm not implying that everybody should do the same thing. All I'm
Oh, I know
implying is
you're
that
not applying that.
what I'm saying is that actually, you know, because there's so many different group of people who actually have worked out some sort of knowledge or belief, they are totally different from one another. They actually nobody's right. There is no such thing as a right.
That's the game, yeah.
Yeah, but this is, yes, totally. But this is also not about wrong and right, you know? So this is not about me being wrong and you being right, or the other way around. At the same time, the idea that there is someone who is right compared to someone else is just another idea. It's just innocently arising. The idea that this is right and that is wrong, or that group is wrong and the other group is right, that itself is just simply arising. There's no avoiding seeing something right and wrong. There's nothing wrong either in seeing something right and wrong. Seeing something right and wrong is just naturally, innocently arising, as is the claim that it is naturally and innocently arising. It's the same with, you know, you cannot, that there be wrong, that things seems to be wrong, is just simply the natural reality, as is the opposite.
Exactly. Like
But
give the example with
on the absolute level, there is no wrong and right. There isn't even a thing to be wrong and right on an absolute level. Wrong and right plays only in the innocent dream of separation. This, only on this level, wrong and right has some meaning. Besides this, there is no wrong and right, nor a you or something else which could be wrong and right. Besides this is a stateless state, and that's where we are pointing to today. So yes, on a
relative level,
relative level, yes,
Sylvain,
right.
misbehaving
can I
leads you
just
maybe to
ask
jail.
Sylvain something?
So the thing with me, I mean, I'm a bit like Tony was saying. I think we are the universe little helpers. We are making
Oh,
things
but
happen.
Tony's not saying that.
Wait a sec, Sylvain.
It is
Sylvain, can you
Sylvain, when
Sylvain,
hold a
can you
second,
repeat?
Rosa. Sylvain,
I'm
when
not
I say
understanding him.
if I use the word knowledge, when I use the word knowledge, I'm not talking about different opinions or different views. When I talk about knowledge, I'm talking about something that is beyond words, that is not about a difference of opinion, about a specific teaching or anything. That's what I mean by knowledge, just knowledge of yourself, which is beyond any concept or belief or
Tony, Sylvain,
any
what's your point?
dogma.
I'm trying to understand Sylvain the whole time. I'm not getting the Sylvain, what's the point you wanted to make?
And the point I'm making is actually for me, life is a practical thing. We are not here to suffer life. We talk about suffering. We're here to actually stop suffering. So we have to play, whether, I know it doesn't go into the non-duality spirit, but as far as I'm concerned, I exist as well as I. I'm part of something. I have a job to do, and my job is to be as comfortable as possible for me and for everybody else.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful,
Yeah,
Sylvain, beautiful,
Sylvan,
beautiful. Yeah,
But I
that's
would
it.
say,
No but.
yes, well, I would say a but. Why not? But my
No
job,
but.
my job is to stop suffering. Yeah, great. That's just simply what it is
Yeah,
then.
that's it. That's
Yeah,
it.
what is there to say about? But this,
Nothing.
it's not better than my job is here to make war. My job is here to stop suffering. It's just innocently rising. That idea that you have a job or that there's a you to begin with and something else which you can stop, that's already just simply this. So there also may be an innocent idea, well, I'm here to make war. The idea that I'm here to
Sweetheart,
make war or peace is just already this.
Zanderlintje, why but? Tell me, Sylvain is
Well,
making
why
the
not?
statement.
Why
Yeah,
not?
okay. But exactly this statement that he made, this is what I call simple. It's always what you say, what you think, what you believe.
Yeah, but it
That's it.
includes but, Rosa. It's as simple.
Yeah, okay,
You make it sound like but is something else. So what is the problem
No,
then?
no, I was just trying to get Sylvain,
Yeah,
sweetheart.
but
Yeah.
as if but is not simple. But is as simple as
Okay.
I want to make
But is
war.
as simple as. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm adding. But is it too?
As far as non-duality is concerned, for me, the way I look at it is actually there is a duality when there is what is and what we'd like it to be. The what we'd like it to be is the duality, which is no good because there's only what is at any given time.
No.
You see, non-duality is bad, Sylvain. Is it like this?
I'm mad about it. It's just a way of looking at life.
But the thing you said is for me as beautiful and right and perfect as people claiming there is me, there is nothing to do, and I don't know what. There is no difference. It's the same.
It's not a method. It's not something you look. It's not non-duality is not a way of looking, nor is it a method. There isn't even a thing called non-duality or a thing called duality as two things which are separate. Non-duality is not a thing, nor duality is not another thing. So it's not a method, nor is it a way of seeing.
Sander, non-duality didn't start with the people here on that talk. Non-duality started when and with whom? I mean, that's the whole point. Why was it created in the first place? Where did it come from? Why was the purpose of it in the first place?
Well, but you talk about as if it's a thing.
Well, it is
Where
a thing.
Where did it come from? Well,
if you go back, it started by somebody in India. Therefore, there was a beginning.
No.
Rosa, I think duality is a wonderful thing.
What you are trying, you talk about non-duality as a concept, as a thing which comes from somewhere, which we can explore, which we can learn and then apply. Well, in my opinion, there's no such thing as non-duality, which is applicable.
I agree.
So what do you call non-duality in that case? We're using the term.
How you mean? Non-duality means not two.
No separation.
It means no
separation. No more, no less. It's very simple. No more, no less.
Okay, but you've been using a lot of references to all text.
I was not using that. You maybe told me.
This was just for fun, Sylvain. This was just for fun. It's more. It's just for fun. There is no need even to. That's why I was joking with like putting a. It was just
Rosa,
for fun.
The not two still appears as many.
Yes.
Yeah, of course.
But
That's
even
why I
that,
said to Sylvain
yes,
exactly the expression that Sylvain, like what he said. That's it already. That's it.
but yes, Tony, the not to is appearing as ready or as many, but that's already not to. Even appearing as it's already not to,
Yes,
nor one.
that's right.
I mean, this is I mean, it's not two, neither one. It's already just this. It's not a thing. It's not. It's many. It's nothing at the same time. It's not. It's not a thing. Which you can hold, which you can learn, which you can find and then use in therapy. No. Sorry.
And Sylvain, yes,
Yeah.
there are people who are seeing non-duality as a thing you can learn, you can apply, you can live.
Yes.
Like there is no me, whatever. Everything. You can find everything, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But this is not like Xander is not talking about this, I would say.
Could I share something?
I always look for
Yeah.
the practical in anything.
Wait.
What's the
I
use
know.
in daily life?
Is that David?
How
David,
can I
David.
say
Yeah, but
somebody?
You want to
let
say
Sylvain
something?
finish.
If,
Let
if I
Sylvain
get
David.
finish.
if I get somebody
Dave hasn't
at
spoken.
work who tells me, I'm having problems, I say, why don't you try non-duality? I can recommend you to somebody who might help you.
No.
How do I use non-duality?
You
You're
don't
not
use it. It's
unusable.
unusable.
Unusable,
Thank you.
just
It's
unusable.
unusable.
Exactly.
Don't ever
David, what
say.
do you want to say, David?
Yes,
David wants
go
to
ahead.
speak.
Yeah, nice to meet everybody and be here.
David, good to see you.
Yeah, just something that I heard recently that kind of stuck with me was like the concept or the phrase just this or this already. Like those are also concepts.
Yes.
And what it seems like non-duality is supposed to signify is non-conceptual.
Yes.
And so anytime that I get stuck on trying to see that there's no me or try to see that this is it, I'm trying to contain it into a concept.
Yes.
I'm trying to make it something tangible for the mind when the whole time what the message is conveying is that this is ungraspable. This is not knowledge. It's outside of knowledge.
Yes.
It's not about knowledge of the self-image or the knowledge of self, as we call it, because
Yes.
that already is an
Exactly.
illusion. For there to be knowledge of a self, we have to create an image of ourself first and then look at it from another perspective. So it's this kind of turtles all the way down problem,
Yes.
which you can't, it's a loop that you can't get out of, that nobody's in. But again,
Yes.
that's what the mind does, is try to make things into concepts. And so
Yes.
seeing any time that we're lost in discussions about Buddhism or application of non-duality, it's like, this is just the mind's way of turning this into something.
It's
But
entertainment. It's pure
nothing.
entertainment. It's
Totally,
just
David.
Yeah,
entertainment.
because if you try and convince yourself that there's no me, you're replacing one piece of conditioning that you're a me
With another
piece of conditioning that you're not a me.
Yes.
Obviously, very obvious. Yeah.
Which is
That's
just another
obviously.
concept. Yes.
Tony, completely right, David. You're spot on.
Yeah.
That's completely right. And it's like what I say in the beginning, changing from I am this body to I'm prior to this body is just another construct. It's just another game. It's just another mind trick, which, like I said, it can have some effects, but those effects are unholdable already. So, yeah, you said it beautiful, David. Thank you for that. So here you go,
Yeah.
Sylvan. Also, I don't know, maybe David, you want to speak more? Go ahead.
Yeah, I've been, I think I was first attracted to this message, thinking that the way out of suffering for me, I thought this held some special knowledge. If I could just understand what was being talked about, I could hold on to that, keep that for myself and become the know me that it seems so much better to be. But after a while, it just feels ridiculous to think that there's something to get, or that there's even, a me that has the thoughts. It's like there's just the thoughts, this assumption that there's someone taking receipt of thoughts is just a layer put on top of what's already happening, what's already this, which again is
Which again
impossible
is
to
said
talk
too
about.
much,
Can't say
David.
it.
Too
Which
Yeah,
much
you
again is
can't.
said
already,
too
yes,
much.
because
Yeah,
Can't
yeah,
say
just,
yeah.
anything. It's
yeah,
like there's thoughts, there's sounds,
But this is
there's
the
Zoom
beauty,
meetings.
and at the same time, it's every word, it's every expression. You cannot miss it. You cannot go wrong or
Inescapable.
right.
no, it's
Yeah, yeah. So what are
inescapable.
we talking about? That's for me. This is pure entertainment. It's
Yeah,
beautiful. No
I
matter
mean,
what.
yeah, just this is just another concept. It's just, it sounds so
Yeah.
nice,
Yeah, it's a bit of a trap, really, isn't it? I
It's
mean,
Well, I
if you
don't
not.
just
Like
want
say,
to
if you
say
Buddhism,
just,
it's a
Buddhism
trap.
was like the first trap, thinking there's somewhere to get with Buddhism, and then you
uh,
find smaller sects called Vedanta, and you find
Yeah,
it must be hiding here, and then
yeah,
the
yeah,
last concept to go is non-duality, to be
yes,
to
exactly.
recognize, oh, this is also a trap, to
It's
see that
so
everything else
cool.
is a trap.
Yeah, yeah,
This is
This is
another
such a cool game. This is such a cool game, isn't
totally,
it?
cosmic
David. Yeah.
joke, because then you just have to
yeah,
laugh and be like,
but
oh,
there is a reason. But there is a
I found it.
reason, David. There is a reason they've been talking about it for 4,000 years. I mean, there's a reason, right?
Of course,
But
Yeah,
the
but they
Tony.
point
talked
is,
also about making toilets for 4,000 years, Tony.
yes, yes.
I mean,
But
every
Dave,
new
what I would say
creator
is that
talking, you know?
this statement, this aphorism, there is just this, can also be a little bit of a trap, because you can say it and it's just pure duality. Because if you suddenly proclaim there's just this, what are you doing? You're just looking at the perception of an object, whatever it might be. It could be a thought, a feeling, something you see. The problem with saying there is just this is that 1 minute later, if you say it again, the just is 1 minute later is not the same just is as the just is that was 1 minute before.
There's no problem with justice already, Tony.
Exactly. And at the same time, there is no problem with just this. And we can say, Tony, everything is a trap. There is only a trap.
But I
That's why
understand
that
what you mean,
statement is not
Tony.
non-duality.
You know, when I say there's justice, which includes saying there's justice, it's just pointing to the directness of whatever
Yeah.
seems to be happening, which is not a thing. It's not an object.
And in fact, there
has no
can't be anything
borders.
other than what is. I mean,
Yes,
there
it's
can't be
obvious,
anything
so
other
you
than
don't
what
have
is
to say
anyway,
it.
right?
Yes,
So it's pretty obvious, isn't it?
it's obvious,
There
but
can't be something other than this, right?
it's not a trap.
It's a trap, and
But
it's
but
not.
that statement itself is not some kind of revelation. You see,
Oh no, of course
it's
not.
said in a
But
way as if it's a revelation.
no,
As
but
if,
it was
oh,
never
some
said.
truth. There's only this. Oh, what an amazing
No,
truth.
Tony,
There's only
Tony.
this. What?
No, Tony,
As
here
if
it
there
was
could be
never
anything
said that
else.
just this is a revelation. It's many times.
I'm not talking about you, Sander.
No, exactly. Many times, many times there was even said there is just this and there isn't even a justice, just to make it ridiculous. Just this is just another one side of the coin.
Sander Lynchian, Tony never listens to you, really. Didn't you notice?
No, of course I
He's
do.
simply
He
not
listens.
listening to
Yeah,
you.
he's
I know
listening.
exactly where Sander's coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
What Sander
No,
is
you have no.
saying
Come
can't.
on, you have no clue.
What Sander
You have
is
no
saying
clue.
can't. Look, this is really what Sander is saying can't even be spoken about.
Oh.
I have talked extensively with
Oh.
Tony. I mean, this is no secret. Tony and me,
We've had many
we have many
conversations.
conversations.
Oh no.
And although it may seem that there is a difference between expressing, but if you would look closer, there's no difference whatsoever.
But don't look too close.
Yeah, you know, it seems here that Sander and Tony, basically, they say the same thing, but we cannot deny that Tony has a more traditional style in speaking on duality, which I respect a
We've
lot.
talked about that
actually.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we
Sander and I have
talked
talked
about
about
that
that
as
as
well.
well.
Yeah,
Sander
yeah.
tends to go for these absolute statements. And I've had this conversation with Sander, and I've said, yeah, everything
But
you say, absolutely fine. But I tend to go a little bit more into the relative because I'm aware of what the seeker is looking for. So that's why I do it. But I totally agree with what he says from that absolute viewpoint. I just like to go a little bit more into the relative.
beautiful. You want, in a way, to meet the seeker where he is, in order to to free him.
That's one way
I
of
know.
putting it. Yes, you can put it like that. Meeting
I
the
know,
seeker where they
sweetheart. I
are.
know. Lovely.
And so there's no point in saying to the seeker, you know, you're not the doer. There's no real me. What's the point of telling a seeker that?
Tony
You see, if a
loves
seeker
to
thinks they're a
Tony
doer,
loves
then
to
that's what
help.
it.
Tony loves to help, so to say, and under Lynching, there is no intention to help. But how may happen?
Well, like I said, if there was, I said also in the
There's just a
beginning.
different disposition. There's a different people are made differently.
So
People have different tendencies. You know, look, it's all part of the conditioning. So Sander has a different conditioning to me or you or anybody else. And those tendencies favor the fact that maybe I want to speak about seeking in a relative way, whereas Sander has different tendencies where he doesn't want to talk about that. And there's no wrong or right about that. There's no wrong or right about that. It's just different tendencies, different disposition.
Well, it's just how the cookie crumbles. One cookie crumbles in a certain way, and another cookie crumbles in another way. We can say that's what you're trying to say here, Tony. Yes, totally.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, almost 2.5 hours. I mean, yeah, what to say? Sylvan, you know, I enjoyed, you know, I don't want to take away any so-called ideas and beliefs. This is also not about taking away any so-called beliefs when it comes to what non-duality is or isn't. So I just want to close up with, you know, thinking that there is such a thing as a non-duality, which can be practical in a sense of therapy. I find that beautiful, and trying to apply that also and helping people is a beautiful thing. And I'm not joking about it. You know, that is just simply how it seems to play. So the belief, and even I don't think it's, I think it's more than a belief there. The feeling that there is something in non-duality which you and Claire can provide for people to end suffering is a beautiful thing. Here it's slightly different scene. Here it's seen that non-duality is not a thing, but it doesn't change anything, so to say. So yeah, beautiful, wanting to help people. Is the internet down or what's happening?
Sylvain, I know a couple of people who are doing this. They're trying to help people with this non-dual whatever. This is beautiful. Yeah.
Yes, I was down, maybe the internet. So, you know, helping people, you know, the need to help people, and finding all types of tools, either meditation or therapy, is just simply, you know, innocently arising. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. This is not about this being wrong and something else being right or the opposite.
It's
So,
helping oneself in the first place, by the way. We all need to, you know, to find the best way to live for ourselves in the first place. Like put your oxygen mask on yourself before you can actually help anybody else.
I think Sebastian asked the question, how to get, if there is a way to get out of self when it seems to be real.
well, you know, in this case, I would say contact Tony.
Self-inquiry.
But this is not a
No,
joke.
I mean, the way to get out of it is
Wait.
self-inquiry.
This is, I don't mean this as a joke. I have no goddamn clue to come out of anything, because you know, here there was no one in something either. But Tony seems to have that knowledge, and I'm not joking. So Sebastian, if you want, you know, feel free to contact with Tony after the meeting, and yeah, let's see what happens. Maybe you can come back and report. Here, there's no goddamn way how this came about. This is already just the case, so to say. But Tony can help definitely. So Sebastian, connect with Tony, and even feel free to connect with Claire and Sylvan. Sylvan is a coach and Claire is a therapist. So They provide non-dual therapy, whatever that means. But yeah.
Yeah, Klaus. So I should address this to you because you were bringing this up as a subject. Who is there to practice? But that was my path. 30 years of meditation. That was my path. So there was definitely someone who was doing something for 30 years.
So
you're not the only one, sweetheart.
Okay. Yes, I understand what Tony says. Yes.
Well, I mean, if there's no nagging questions, the last thing I would like to ask, Gio. So you did your surgery, right, last Monday? So it's 1 week and a day.
Oh yeah, how are you?
And
I'm fine.
I'm fine. You're good. Good to hear. You look good.
It's incredible some of techniques that medicine have arrived. It's incredible. I mean, what they do in the heart and fix it. It's incredible, really. One day we can go into details.
Yes, but good to hear that you are good and that
Yeah.
you're still breathing.
Yeah, good.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks for
all.
sharing. Thank you for coming also. Claire, dear Claire, thank you for providing this link. You know, this meeting cannot go on without Claire providing, you know, the Zoom link. And Sylvan, thank you also. Wendy, thank you. I hope you have a beautiful week. Kai, thank you for joining. Tony, go to bed. It's far past midnight.
2:30 in the morning.
Rosa,
Wow.
sweetheart, have a beautiful night. Tara, take care. We talk later. Klaus, nice meeting you. Gio, you know, get even better than now. A couple of months and the scars in the heart will heal, probably. David, a blessing to see you this meeting. You have said that you would come, and now here you are. So great to see you. Sebastian, Anand, Sindhu, nice to see you again, although there's no picture there, but everyone, thanks for the meeting.
Thanks, sweetheart.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Have a
you.
beautiful night.
Take care.
See you
Bye-bye.
guys
Bye.
and girls, ladies.